right, so this is another really important limit that we will come back to when we talk about geometric series. So this limit, as n approaches infinity for x to the n, that equals 0 if and only if, that I spell that with two F's, if and only if in absolute value x is less than 1. That means as long as x is between -1 and 1, this limit will be 0. When x equals 1, the limit is just 1, not 0. When x is -1, right? So a couple of notes here. So note, when x equals 1, this limit is 1, not 0. When x equals -1, the limit does not exist. Because what happens, if we think of what sequence this comes from, that will be -1, 1, -1, 1, and so on, and we know that this oscillates, so this limit does not exist. And then if x is larger than 1, what will happen is that the sequence explodes. So when x is larger than 1, for example, let's say that we have 3 to the n. If we just list some terms of this sequence, we can see this is not going to be bounded above by anything. So when n is 1, this is 3. When n is 2, this is 3 squared, which is larger, then 3 cubed, then 3 to the 4th. This just keeps getting larger and larger and larger. It's unbounded from above. There's nothing that's going to hold it down, so this limit does not exist. So limit as x approaches infinity of x to the n is 0 only when x is between -1 and 1, not including those endpoints. And that's going to be really important later on when we talk about geometric series on Monday. Okay, so the first thing that I want to note in our proof, I'm going to start the proof by writing a note that we'll come back to. If in absolute value, let's suppose that x is between 0 and 1, then we know that the natural logarithm of absolute value of x will be less than 0. Just a quick graph to show you why that is. Natural log function looks like this. When x is between here's 1 and here's 0, you can see that the values of the natural log function are below the x-axis between 0 and 1. So since that's the case, then the natural log, we can write the natural log of absolute value of x to the nth power as n times the natural log absolute value of x. And if we take the limit as n approaches infinity of this quantity, then we know that n is going to get really, really large. These values are negative, so this is going to approach negative infinity. I'm going to make use of this limit in the actual proof, which is why I'm including this as a note. So let's get to the actual proof. All right, so we're going to start with the limit as n approaches infinity of absolute value of x to the n. And I'm going to talk later a little bit about why I'm taking an absolute value and why that's actually a stronger convergence. So when we have this, we can rewrite this as before with the first limit. We can write this as the limit as n approaches infinity of e to the natural log absolute value of x to the n, because composing e and natural log undo each other. And because e is a continuous function, I can move the limit to the exponent and write this as n times natural log absolute value of x using a property of logarithms. We know as n gets really large, we know now that this is going to get really, really large in the negative direction. And e to a very large negative number will then go to 0, because it's 1 over e to a very large positive number, so then that converges to 0. So what we've shown right now is that the limit as n approaches infinity of absolute value of x to the nth power is 0. Now, what's important here? Why is that enough for the limit that we started with? And this is how I'm going to show that. Anytime that I've got x to the n itself is always bounded, it's always between absolute value of x to the n and negative absolute value of x to the n. It's always between those values. Now, by the sandwich theorem, as n approaches infinity, we know this thing is going to go to 0. And we've just proven, right, negative 0, which is 0. And this thing is also going to go to 0 by what we just proved. And so therefore, by the sandwich theorem, we have what we wanted. That the limit as n approaches infinity of x to the n equals 0. And again, only true as long as x is between negative 1 and 1. So a really important limit to keep in mind. I will be talking a lot about this limit and referring back to this proof.